So for an older fan like me to read that it was 17 years since you'd had a full crowd in at Ellen Road when you played Everton, that was just mad to read. Obviously, I know that the club went into administration, you went all the way down to League One, but nevertheless, just reading that 17 years since a full house watched a Premier League game at Ellen Road, madness.
I know, and you could tell it had been 17 years, plus the atmosphere when we played Everton here, it was electric. It was not like I'd ever seen before, and just to have actually a full crowd and away end that's full, plus we haven't had many full away ends, plus we've been playing teams like Luton and Charlton and them sort of teams, so it was just a good day and a fair point. I think you know, if we'd have nicked a win, it also might have been deserved, but they could have nicked it at the same time, so yeah, a point on the first day.
And you've waited all that time yourself, haven't you? You're only 20 years old yourself, so whereas I'm old enough to remember when Leeds won the Premier League, and I remember us all singing to Man United at Anfield, you lost the league on Merseyside, you know, you won't remember all that. So that was your first Premier League game, full crowd. I think you said you got to one of the ones last season during obviously the pandemic when they couldn't have full crowds in one of the 10,000 ones, but yeah, that was the proper Ellen Road, wasn't it, against Everton?
Oh yeah. It felt good at the time, the 10,000 fans that were in, but actually we were missing that. That's what we need, and that crowd will get us over the line a few times this season, I reckon.
So what do you reckon for Liverpool then? Liverpool are favourites for this game at the weekend. Leeds you can get about 4-1, I think, if you fancy a flutter on Leeds. Well, what's your feelings about it? You know, I think you were saying before to me you'd take a draw like last year.
Yeah, a draw would be a decent result, to be fair, but you know, we're not expected to beat, like you say, we're not favourites, but if we could just nick another draw like we did last year, I think that would be a point well deserved, and hopefully we do it.
And what have you thought about what you've seen so far from Leeds this season compared to last season? Obviously signed a couple of players, now signed Dan James as well from Manchester United for 25 million. Are you convinced that you got enough to stay up, keep Leeds in the Premier League, keep on going, keep on aiming up?
Yeah, I mean, year on year we're getting stronger. Like at left back we had Alioski last year, he's left now. We've got Junior Firpo, and he seems to have fitted in nicely. I mean, he hasn't stood out, but he's just done his job, which, you know, can go unnoticed sometimes, but he's just doing what he's meant to do. And Dan James, obviously we've wanted him for 2 years now. Bielsa's wanted him for 2 years. He obviously rates him, otherwise he won't keep going back in for him, and you know, we've finally got him. The fee of 25 million, maybe we paid a bit too much, but if Bielsa wants him, then we can't really argue. But
he feels to me like he would be someone that Bielsa would like, because you know, he's hard working, isn't he? He runs himself into the ground. Okay, as you say, you know, I'd maybe say you've paid over the odds a little bit to get him, but he does seem to sort of fit what the manager's about.
I mean, I've seen clips of him at Man United where he tracks back and he runs back, and obviously his pace, he's already caught up with the attacking player. So that's a good thing, and that's what Bielsa likes to see, his players, you know, track back and not just stay up front. I mean, you might have seen it with Bamford in the England squad yesterday. He tracked back and he was running about all over the place, and that's what he likes, and that's what Dan James will bring. Yeah,
and us as, you know, from our perspective, we'll think about Leeds last season, obviously 4-3 at Anfield, a 1-1 draw here, but you know, that first game, I think we were all really, really impressed by Leeds. Do you think, are you worried at all that Bielsa's approach, Bielsa's tactics, people are starting to say, aren't they, maybe he's getting found out a little bit now? Are you worried about that?
No, but I think it happened last year where people said, oh, he needs to change his tactics and that. And when we went down to 10 men at the Etihad, he did change it a bit, and it was more a defensive performance. I mean, I've never seen a Bielsa team defend like that, and it was just good to see, and it shows that we do have that side to our game if we need it. So if we needed to hold on to a lead, then we have the, you know, capability of doing it. But all this burnout nonsense, I mean, we didn't burn out last year. We actually got better back end of the season, and people were criticising we were letting too many goals in, and that just back end of the season we weren't conceding hardly any. And then when we actually got promoted, there were no burnout there. Before the lockdown and that, we'd won 5 in a row, so I don't think there'll be a burnout.
All right, the Reds, thanks very much for getting stuck into that little snippet there of Anfield Wrap content. If you want the rest of that show and much more besides, click the link below, subscribe to the Anfield Wrap Premium, and for that you will get reviews, previews, exclusive interviews, post-match content, the full it. Get involved, follow us, follow them from the heart of Liverpool. Up the Reds.